Whether you know everything about retirement investing or absolutely nothing about retirement investing, this video will serve as a guide to get there. I'll break it down step by step. The sooner you start investing for retirement, the better your retirement's going to be. First place to start, a 401k. A 401k has to be offered by an employer. If you have an employer with a 401k, you can invest in one. Most of them offer traditional or Roth 401ks. Traditional means you're going to pay the taxes later when you withdraw the money in retirement. Roth means you're going to pay the taxes now, and you don't have to worry about paying any taxes later. Typically, if you start investing younger, go with Roth. If you're really close to retirement, like it's right around the corner, 5-10 years, traditional may be better for you. Are there account minimums in a 401k? How much do you have to invest? You can invest anything, and they can come right out of your paycheck. So you could set a percentage, like 5% or 10% of your paycheck, or you can usually set a dollar amount, like $100 a paycheck, $500 a paycheck, and it will automatically go into your 401k. If your employer gives you a match, take the match. It's free money. It's awesome. It's a huge benefit. Your employer may match a dollar per dollar amount up to $2,000 or up to $10,000, or they might match a percentage of what you invest. So they might match every dollar up to 5% of your salary. Always max out your 401k first to at least receive the maximum match from your company. Overall, the total that you can put in is $22,500 per year as of year 2023. If your employer gives you a match, that's additional money that can go in there on top of the $22,500. So a 401k is great because it has huge tax advantages. You only have to pay tax on the money once. Unlike a standard brokerage account where you have to pay tax on the money when you put it in, and then any gains, you have to also pay tax on that. However, those tax advantages come with some stipulations, such as you cannot withdraw the money until you're age 59 and a half. Otherwise, you will face a 10% penalty. Second place to start is going to be an IRA, an individual retirement account. Anyone who has a reportable income to the IRS can open up an IRA. You could be self-employed. You can be employed by an employer. You can also have a 401k. Anybody, it is your own personal retirement account. That's why it's called an individual retirement account. The maximum you can invest in here is $6,500 as of the year 2023. Same thing as a 401k. There's a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. As a rule of thumb, if you invest early and often, go with Roth. Most people, it's going to benefit you to go with Roth. Roth IRA has some stipulations though. It has income limits. So if you make over $138,000 as a single person, you cannot invest into a Roth IRA. You're going to have to go to a traditional IRA. If you're married, great. You guys can both have your own IRAs and both invest $6,500 for a total of $13,000. However, if your combined income is over $218,000, you cannot invest in a Roth IRA. You're going to both need to invest in traditional IRAs. If you want to see a video on how to convert traditional IRAs to Roth IRAs, even if you're above the income limits, subscribe to this channel. There's a video coming. Like a 401k, because an IRA has great tax advantages, you can't withdraw the money until you're age 59 and a half, or you can withdraw your own contributions after you've had the account open for 5 years, but you cannot withdraw any investment gains that you've had on that money until you're age 59 and a half. So we've covered 401k, we've covered IRA. What about a brokerage account? What if you want to retire before age 59 and a half? Well, you can open a brokerage account. Some people call this a bridge account because it bridges the gap from the age you retire, say 50, until age 59 and a half, when you can start withdrawing those great tax advantage accounts. A brokerage account, anyone can open up a brokerage account. You don't even need to have a job. There's no account minimums. There's usually no trading fees nowadays. You can open one up through E-Trade or Charles Schwab or Fidelity, and you can invest any amount of money into a brokerage account. It's not going to come right out of your paycheck like a 401k, but you can set up so that it automatically transfers from your bank account that your paycheck goes into the brokerage account. A brokerage account, you can virtually invest in anything you want. It has the most amount of investment options, stocks, bonds, even crypto nowadays. So with a brokerage account, you can pull your money out whenever you want. It doesn't have a lot of restrictions. There's no income limit. There's no contribution limits. You can put $1 million into your brokerage account tomorrow if you wanted to. But how do the taxes work for a brokerage account? So if you own a stock in a brokerage account, for less than 1 year, you're going to have to pay income tax on the gains. So if you invested $1,000 and you made $100, you're going to have to pay whatever income tax bracket you're in. That's the tax you're going to have to pay on that $100 you made that year. If you held that stock for less than a year, if you hold anything for more than a year, you only have to pay capital gains tax, which is slightly more advantageous than income tax. It's typically going to be 10 to 15% for most people. Sometimes it's even 0% if your income is low enough, but it's always going to be less than your income tax. So it does benefit you to hold the stocks or whatever investments you have in there for more than a year. All right, so let's say you're doing 401k, you're doing IRA, you have extra money, you're doing brokerage account, you have even more money and you want to have the best retirement possible. What other investment vehicles can we start looking at? What about real estate? Can we do long-term rentals? Can we buy a property and do year-long rentals? Can we buy a property and do Airbnb rentals, short-term rentals? If you're at this stage and you're maxing out all those other retirement accounts, or you're putting a good, healthy amount to those retirement accounts, investing in real estate is a good way to diversify yourself. Real estate is not for everybody. If you are overwhelmed by it, if it stresses you out, don't do it. If you have a background in real estate, if you have a background in construction, it may be for you. You may love it. Go ahead and do it. It's a great way to be diversified. Keep in mind, don't leverage large amounts of debt. That is going to add risk and stress to your life. If you're pulling out $400,000 loans every 2 years, hoping that your tenants are going to pay them off, you're going to be stressed out. This is why I like stocks better than I like real estate, because you don't have to go into large amounts of debt. If you can buy investment properties in cash, great. If you travel a lot and you want to Airbnb your own home, great. Go ahead and do it. A study of the largest millionaires showed that on average, the biggest wealth building tool that they had was their 401k and a paid off home mortgage. So pay off your mortgage. You have extra money, maybe don't even invest in real estate, just pay extra onto your mortgage. If you have a 5% interest rate on your mortgage, that is an immediate guaranteed 5% interest gained by paying it off sooner. The average mortgage in the US is $2,800 per month on a 30-year loan. So if you paid, for example, an extra $100 a month, you would shave 3 years and 4 months off of your mortgage, off of a 30-year mortgage, 3 years and 4 months, and you'd save $40,000 in interest by just an extra $100 a month. Keep in mind, it's also more than just a numbers game. The feeling you have and the stress that gets relieved when you don't have to pay for a mortgage, it opens up a whole new band of freedom that you may have never experienced before. Studies show that it relieves stress. It gives you the ability to pursue other goals. It empowers you and actually builds self-confidence by having a paid off mortgage. Last thing we're going to touch on, an HSA, health savings account, something that's good to keep in mind when you want to start investing for retirement. What is a health savings account? A health savings account is an investment vehicle that has huge tax advantages because you don't have to pay tax on the money that you put into an HSA, and you don't have to pay tax on the money, on the interest that's gained within the HSA. But you can only use it for qualified medical expenses. What are qualified medical expenses? Prescriptions, co-pays, doctor visits, dentist visits. Typically, you open up an HSA, they'll give you a debit card, and you can just swipe that debit card at the doctor's office, and it'll automatically come right out of your HSA. And if your income tax bracket is 20%, you never have to pay that tax on that money. So you just save 20% on all those medical expenses. The max you can contribute to an HSA as of 2023 is $3,850 if you're single. If you're a family, it's $7,750. Similar to a 401k, this is something that can actually come right out of your paycheck. So for me personally, I defer $40 a paycheck into the HSA. So it comes right out of my paycheck and goes into the HSA. And that means I never have to pay tax on that $40 ever. And any interest that it gains, because you can invest in an HSA in stocks and bonds, any money I make off of that $40, I also do not have to pay tax on that as long as I use it for qualified medical expenses. You don't need to build up a ton of money into an HSA, but as you can imagine, as you get older, you're going to have medical bills. start deferring just a little bit of money into an HSA. It's a great tax advantage investment vehicle. All right, that's all I have for this video, guys. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like this video if you got anything out of it. There's going to be more videos about investing and specifically retirement investing. If you have specific questions, put them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. And if you are completely lost, still, you can always book a one-on-one session on timwolf.com. I'll see you in the next video.